Wendy, how are you?
I'm very well. How lovely to see you.
Yeah, it's been too long.
It has. I was just trying to figure out, it must be about 6 years. Is that right?
That's a very, very long time.
Yeah. Well, you look amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. I had a baby boy.
Congratulations. What's his
Thank
name?
Stephen.
Stephen. Is that with a V or a PH?
Oh, PH,
A
yeah.
PH. Yeah. So how old is he now?
He is he's gonna be 2 in September.
Oh,
So
lovely.
just a little one.
Oh, well, you must send us a photograph in so that we can admire your handsome son.
Yes, my miracle child.
I know, especially when you think of your past and your history and all that you were told. And it's just another example of, again, full credit to you for taking on board all the information and applying it to have this beautiful little miracle boy.
Yeah, I'm very thrilled. I'm very thrilled. Like after everything like I went through with you with the courses, I still use the protocols, a lot of them. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
it's changed my life.
Oh, I'm so glad and how wonderful. And thank you for coming on and giving us an update. Obviously, we're going to hear about you and your update, and then we'll pause this and we'll have a chat at the end. But thank you for
Mm.
coming on and giving us an update. And it's wonderful when women like yourself do come back and share that they're still using the principles and the protocols and they're still working for them. And then they have these miracle babies that were told they'd never have children. I was told I'd never have kids, and I've got two. Like I feel so blessed every day, even though sometimes I want to throttle them. That that I'm like so lucky because the doctor said it would never happen, and I know that that was the case with you, wasn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. They told me what was it? Yeah, so long ago. It's like, nope, you're gonna not gonna have kids. You need everything removed by the time you're 30. And I'm 30 now. So
I know. I know. Well, I was trying to think, you were kind of in your early 20s, I think, when we first spoke. And I always remember your like, what really attracted me to you was your energy, was your drive, your passion, your desire. You just had that fire in your belly that was like, no, 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 I don't believe what I'm being told.
yeah, it's like, nope, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And then once I started reading your books and going through your courses, it's like, I don't know, it just hit me like, okay, you need to change, like what you eat, what you put in your hair, what you put in your body, you're exercising, the journal. That was a really big part, I believe, was the journaling in the morning that really changed me.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's so lovely to hear because I know it's something that I niggle on about, but it really does just allow you to hear those other parts of yourself, that inner guidance system, connection to your higher power, God, goddess, source, whatever you want to call it, the universe. It just allows you to connect more, I think, energetically and
Yeah.
spiritually, dare I say, to kind of because we're such exquisitely highly sensitive women and empaths that we need to almost have that overflow to allow us to kind of because we can absorb other people's energy and thoughts and feelings really easily, but to actually hear our own, that's where I know on my journey, and I still do that to this day. Like I did 4 A4 pages this morning and I was like scribbling
Oh,
away, and I still do it because it allows me to hear. So it's wonderful to hear that you found that supportive
yes,
to you, and dare I say
very.
even empowering, because I know that yeah, as I say, you always had this drive. And what does it feel like hearing that like from me now? Because I mean, I remember you like yesterday. I'll never forget you, our first call, and you're just like, I don't believe what I'm being told, there has to be another way.
I like at certain points, I felt like I was very like lost, very lost. And I feel like with the journaling and everything, I started to like, hello, here I am. Like this is what's happening. And the one thing that really got me is I went to go see my doctor a couple of weeks ago, And they checked because I wanted them to check for the endometriosis, which has now been like 6 years down the road. Nothing, nothing
Woohoo!
to this day. Isn't
Oh my
that crazy?
Lord, it's
They went
amazing.
in, they checked. Yeah, he said there's not a trace, not a trace. Six
Oh,
years later. That's
uh,
crazy. That blows me away. Birth control. I didn't take their all those things that they were telling me, and I decided
wow.
to go your route. And I'm still here. I still have my 2 ovaries, so I'm happy.
Oh, like I'm so proud of you. If I could swear right now, like, oh my goodness. And that's the thing. I mean, I'm trying to think how many years down the line I am, and I have nothing, like no adenomyosis, no cysts, no
Wow.
nothing,
Wow.
like no endometriosis. I still have all my uterus and my ovaries, and I have no pain, no symptoms, no medication, no surgery, nothing. And it's just amazing, isn't it? Like just
Yeah.
this body of ours, when you feed it right, you pay attention to it. And I love that you kind of brought up the journaling again, because there's so much pressure and noise out there online. It's like, how do you separate all of that to kind of, oh, sorry, to kind of what is actually happening inside yourself, you know? And I think one thing that I remember with you was you always had this amazing kind of connection to yourself, but equally yours had that beautiful sensitivity that you weren't able to kind of differentiate kind of what your instincts and your intuition was telling you from what strangers were telling you.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like I look back and like I look back at the journal and all those entries. Like I started looking back at all those things, and it's like, I found out new things about myself. Like I love reading, I love self-help books, I love to be out in nature. Like it made me find myself through the whole process on top of it. So, and it's like I feel like that's also played a part as to like how I heal too. It's like, wow, like you find yourself through everything you put me through, and like I feel great. Like I'm there's no going back. There's really
Yeah.
no, and like I still go to the stores, and like I have to look at the labels. Like I have to. It's like ingrained in my head now. And I save
Well,
a lot
well,
of
you
money
have
that
to.
way too.
Yeah, but you have to,
Yeah.
because because I think now you have this relationship with your body that you know that you just can't. I'm the same. Like as much as sometimes it's tempting and sometimes it's annoying, you still have those parts that go, oh, I just know I respect my body too much. And I remember the pain and the misery I was in before. And I will never go back there because I have this relationship. And it sounds like you have that too. The fact you're still checking everything and you're journal. But going back to what you were saying about kind of getting to know yourself, it sounds like you recognize that it's not just putting the endometriosis into remission, it's the journey that you're on, the self-discovery. I always remember you on the last podcast saying, people were like, Dianna, where'd you get all this energy from? And you saying, like, it was like you were like being let out of a cage that you'd been trapped in. And it was very interesting, and I think another one you said was like a cup that had been broken and you were glued back together with gold or something like that. There was all these lovely
Yeah.
analogies that you used that were very poignant, like it's still stuck in my head to this day, because I related so much. So it's not just putting and keeping the endometriosis in remission. It's just continued journey, isn't it, of getting to know yourself and getting to like,
Yes.
love, and trust yourself, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like so worth it. Cause it's like even today, it's like, it's like if you eat that one food, it's like your body so well now. It's like, oh, wait a second, why do I feel this way? And it makes you think, like, wait, I'm double thinking, why do I feel this way? What happened? Like you try to find that root cause that you taught through the course.
Yes.
So it's very, very, it's great. I feel good. Oh man,
Good.
it's very
And
good.
about your relationships as well. How do you find that your relationship with yourself and with others now? How has that kind of evolved over the years? Do you find that keeping boundaries firm? How have you found that?
So you know what? It's funny you say that because lately, maybe like maybe a year now, I can say no. I can actually say no. It's like it took me a while though, but
Yes.
now it's like when I'm firm, and I will speak what I think in
Okay.
a nice way, obviously, but
Obviously.
it's just a really nice difference than before. Because I remember when I first started the course, like everything was a yes, like, oh, like I don't know how to say no, like you said, but now it's like as I learn, I can say no, and I don't, and I know I'm happy with my answer.
Amazing.
It's a,
And what do you think kind of, do you think, what do you think has helped with that as you've gone along? Because I recognize with a lot of us, it can still feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like there's that ingrained kind of people pleasing parts, but at the same time, it's like a self-pleasing first, which is not selfishness, but it's self-essential for the health, isn't it? To recognize,
yes.
because again, I'll speak for myself, but I know my body will respond if I might even say yes to something, and then my body goes, no, no, we can't do that, or whatever. And now I will recognize it's okay to change my mind. So I might even say yes, or maybe, and then my body goes, no. And then it's okay for me to change my mind, to go back and say, actually, I'd love to, but I'm not able to do that. And feel the relief and the release of stress. I don't know how you feel still on your journey, and how that sits with you.
Yeah, I just feel like as I've eaten better, so yeah, there's been moments where I've slipped up a little bit, but like I get back on, and like I feel like by making those sacrifices right there, where it's like no, I like if I go to like an ice cream store, no, I have to tell myself no, can't have ice cream. And as I say no to myself, I feel like as I'm saying no to myself, it's easier to say no to situations and
Yeah.
to other people because I'm confident in myself now with my body. So it's like, okay, sorry guys, it's a no from me. And like even through my pregnancy, there was certain things where I didn't want them to do. And I told my doctor no. I told my doctor
Amazing.
no. I was so strong, but she didn't like it. But I said no and I stood my ground. And I am so happy I did. And I bounced back up.
Well, I hope it doesn't sound patronizing, but I am so proud of you, because I know when you're pregnant and, when you're a woman in this world, sometimes you can feel alone. And when you're saying something, and because we are so attuned to people, we know what they would like to hear and what they want from us. But to be able to know what you want for yourself and your baby and your body, like that has to count for not only the physical health, but the emotional health and the mental health and the spiritual health of us as we continue on this journey.
Yes, exactly. And I'm so proud of it. And it's like I look back and it's like, wow, I'm back to myself. I feel good and I can say no. I mean, I
Yeah,
feel a lot
exactly.
better.
Yeah,
It's
and I'm hearing, even as you're
yeah,
saying that, obviously it's been a couple of years since we've spoken, but I really feel that groundedness in you. Like there's this self-like and self-care that is essential for your self-health, isn't it? Like, and
yes.
whilst we'll always have that part that is aware of other people and we care about others, we have to take care of ourselves first. And of course, that does mean that kind of time where we kind of go, I'd like to say yes to keep you happy, but I have to keep myself happy, because if I don't, I become ill. If I eat that food, if I have that dairy or that ice cream, my intestines are going to flame up, my skin's going to erupt, and my body's not going to like it. So I'll find an alternative thing, to suit my body. So I'm not kind of saying, not depriving parts of myself from pleasure or joy, but not feeling the pressure of before, where I would eat something or do something because I didn't want to do it, but I didn't want to upset the other person. And that's the shift that we have to make on the journey, isn't it?
Yes. And it's so important. So important. I'm very blessed and happy. It's great.
Good. I'm so happy for you, and to think that you've had the all clear again 6 years later. And when you did, you get a chance to go back through your journals and remember kind of what it was like?
Yeah, it's almost like a not trauma, but when you start reading the things from your past, it's like, wow, you look back and it's like, wow, I was not in a good state. it's
Yeah.
like a good self-reflection because you learn from it too. You look back and it's like, wow, you're learning, but then it's also good because you're learning and you can help others in those situations, or then they have similar things they're going through. You can like look back at yourself and read those notes and be like, wow, what did you know, you're learning, and then you learn more things. And then that's the other thing I've learned is like I love learning now. Like I've,
Me too.
before, I would just sit and watch TV, not doing much, not doing too much. But now it's like I want to try new things. Like I'm
Ooh,
moving to Alberta cold turkey in a month.
that's
So
fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah.
something new.
I thi- That's amazing because I think as well, the more that you learn to listen, to tune in to yourself and your higher power, whatever you want to call it, through your journaling, you recognize that it's nice to take counsel from other people and then come back to yourself to make decisions. Like you can trust yourself. And yes, I'm the same. I'm continually learning and growing, expanding. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And how will it be? And what will it? But I just have the faith because I'm journaling and I'm listening and I'm going for my self dates and praying and being out in nature so I can be connected to the core of me to go, okay, we've got this. I can hear all my different parts, but we need to keep expanding and learning and growing because before, when we were entrenched in endometriosis, we didn't have those opportunities. We didn't have these opportunities to travel or to move or to be as active as we can now. So it's almost like making up for lost time as well, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. And it's like you said, expanding. It's like even for my dog, he had certain health issues, and I'm looking around. I started thinking, I'm like what's around, like what's in the environment, like what's going on that could cause that for him. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
compared to like even a vet saying, yeah, just take some pills for the
yeah,
rest of his life, you know?
yeah.
But it's that mindset where it's like you're constantly expanding and growing for everything, even animals, where it's like, what can I help? Like how, through
Yeah.
environments, everything.
No, you're spot on because it's like that curious mindset, isn't it? It's like that
Yeah.
spirit right from the beginning, which was, but why, but why, but why? And staying curious. And I prefer the word curious because it allows you to dig deeper
Yes.
and see things rather than just open, because open might mean you bring in all the rubbish as well as all the good. But when you're learning to kind of, it's really finding tuning your instinct, your gut, so that you can keep educating and informing yourself, whether it be your dog or I know my father, of course, he's very kind of old school, so he just wants to do the main medical thing, which drives me nuts, as you can imagine. Um, but he was just saying to me at the weekend he was on these pills for this and on these pills for that, and these pills for this have stopped his adrenal glands working. So now he has to take pills to jumpstart his adrenal glands whilst because so these pills had a side effect, which now he takes a pill for that side effect, and this other one has a side effect. And it's just like these pills don't get to the root causes. And like you say, even for animals, have you still got the wee white dog? Was it this one?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
still got him.
wow. Yeah.
He's
So
still
how
kicking
old is he
around.
now?
Oh, he's 14 now. He's a little old man now.
Amazing. My chocolate Labrador Ginty lasted until she was 16, and that's unheard of or very rare for labs to,
Oh,
to be that
wow.
old. So well done for, again, listening to your instincts. And you're right, look at the environment. What are they eating and how, what's affecting them. But I mean that kind of curious mindset is actually quite fun too. I think some people feel, oh, it's a lot of hard work, but actually when your body responds or your dog responds or your child responds to, because I remember my son, he was how old was he, maybe about 2 years old, and he developed all this eczema all over his arms and legs, and it was so bad that he could barely walk, when his legs rubbed together. He used to cry when he walked. He was in so much pain, it was so raw. And it turned out to be cow's milk. So I swapped
Oh,
out cow's milk because I think the doctors were like, oh, take these pills and do this and take this cream. And I was horrified at the side effects for my little boy. So I changed them to goat's milk and it all went away. So again, it's just going, there must be another way. And I really have always felt that with you, which is that, whilst it might be scary at times, stepping away from kind of the convention, but you challenging and questioning the convention to go, okay, that's great, thank you, but that doesn't work for my body, or it doesn't work for my son, or it doesn't work for my dog. You know, why is it not working? And then what are the alternatives? Because there's always an alternative. I mean, our bodies have been around for like 3 billion years, or certainly a long time, millions of years, you know, so without medicine. So what in our environment, you know, as I call the 5 Ps, the produce, products, property, people, and past, you know, what is lurking there that's causing inflammation and irritation in the body. And that's and you do need to have a curious mindset. You have to go, I want, like you say, what did I just eat that my body doesn't like? Or, you know, because again, you know, you go to the supermarkets and things, and there's all these big clever marketing, like a table of marketing people have worked really hard to convince you. I was in the shop this other day and it was saying, oh, take 15 years off your face. And I looked at the ingredients and went, no, you'll just add all this toxicity to your body. Just use shea butter or almond oil or coconut oil, and you'll take 15 years off your face, you know, because you won't be loading your body with toxins. So we have to kind of constantly navigate all these shiny new marketing kind of, you know, elements that are out there in the world trying to convince us, A, that we're not good enough as we are, and B, we need to absorb their toxic products into our sensitive bodies.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's like even the other day, I was looking at my toothpaste, either toothpaste or deodorant, everything, the nail polish, everything. Even I've even been looking into like clothes. Maybe that's a little extreme, but like looking at what your clothes are made out of
Oh yeah,
because of the
yeah,
chemicals. Oh my
totally. Well,
goodness.
we've the programs have evolved since you did it, and absolutely, there's a whole section now on toxic clothing. You know what they're sprayed with and how they, you know, it can be absorbed into the skin. Even obviously washing powder that's very perfumed and again absorbs into your skin through your clothes. And especially if you've got a very acutely sensitive body like ours, you know, you might get away with one thing, but when they all start stacking up, exactly, you want nice, fresh cotton clothes or linen clothes or even silk, you know, if you can afford it. But all these polyesters and nylons and things, they just, you know, give out all this, you know, they elude all their toxins in through the skin. The skin's like one of the biggest membranes, you know, on the body to absorb all these things. So it's fantastic, Diana, that all these years that you've still been kind of paying attention to all that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be in my mind forever.
And
A
do you
good
think,
thing.
yeah, and do you think like with your son that, you know, you'll be kind of saying, you know, this is where I was and this is where I am? Do you think you'll be when he's old enough? Do you think you'll be sharing that with him?
Yes, I certainly will. And he'll be learning from a little boy all kinds of things and what's good, what's not, what food to put in your body, all kinds of things. Because I think it's so important. Um, and
Absolutely.
just, yeah, I just am blown away with the whole journey. And it's like I feel like $1,000,000. I actually feel an inner peace, you know?
Oh,
It's nice.
amazing. I love hearing that. I love hearing it. And there is just something, another lady had said to me the other day, it's like coming home to yourself. Is that peace
Yes.
coming home to yourself, like sitting in with
Hmm.
yourself and going, you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm doing okay. I am okay. I'm doing okay. You know, and you know, we have to pay attention. We can't afford to sleepwalk through our lives because our bodies can't do that. We need to pay attention, but it's fun to pay attention. You know, and it's funny you saying that about your son because my son's 22 now, and of course
Oh,
he was about, how old was he? 8, 9, 10 on the beginning of the journey, and he is so fascinated even now, like because he was on the journey with me. He read my first book and then my second edition, and he was really like, wow, mom, I had no idea. And he has his own interest and his own passion. Both my children do. And I love it because they recognize as well the different, nowadays there's so many toxic, you know, substances and products and foods and things, and they're really attuned to their own. So I love that they've been able to again take care of themselves, because I want them to be self-sufficient, independent, healthy, strong, energetic humans. And if they're able to tune in to their instincts and go, oh, I don't think that food agreed with me, or that was full of preservatives and additives, and that's made me ill, and things like that. I think my son ate a horrible packet of crisps, potato chips,
Oh no.
and he was like throwing up for like 2 days afterwards. I can't remember what they were called, but they were highly processed. He'd eaten them kind of in passing at a friend's house. And I'm like, well, clearly, if you go and look at all the ingredients, it's never seen a natural thing in its life. It's just all been made in a chemist. So I actually really like, and I've said to both my children, like, make sure that if I'm not around, when you have your kids, that my grandkids and my great grandkids are educated and informed about this, not to frighten them, but to educate them and inform them that if anything's happening in their body, that they need to go searching and wear their Inspector Columbo hat or Inspector Clouseau hat, kind of with their big magnifying glass, and just check what's going on around them so they can have the ultimate health.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like I'm so blessed to even have my child. So definitely having your kids informed, like that is such a priority. And it's amazing to be able to get to that point now where it's like you
Yeah,
can do that, you know?
absolutely.
It's like, look at your children. They're gonna be whizzes. They're gonna be whizzes. They're probably already whizzes in a good way. So that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Well, I just love that they're I don't want I've never wanted to frighten them, but I just want them to take responsibility and recognize they have power over their own body, whatever it is. And I don't think that's shared
Mhm.
enough. It's kind of something's wrong with you. And of course, there's a time and a place to go and get medical support and help. And I would even say go and speak to people, but always come back to yourself. You're responsible for
Yeah.
your body. You
Mhm.
you do your own research. Don't give out your power to a complete stranger who doesn't know your body or live inside your body. I've heard so many horror stories, Diana, over the years. It breaks my heart of really trusting women who have put their bodies in the hands of butchers, basically, in their cases, and they have to live with the consequences, and they're not living, they're just barely getting by, and having
Mhm.
to rebuild their body and their lives from scratch. So again, I'm a huge kind of supporter of people of, yeah, that's why it's great to hear that you can say no, or I'll think about it, or I'll come back to you, because sometimes you might need to seek counsel and just speak to different people to come back into your own instincts. So I'm curious, when you went back through your journal, like, how far back did you go? Can you remember what?
Yeah, I went all the way back from when I started because I was curious. I didn't read every page because
Yeah.
it became like now when I read it, it's like so depressing where it's like I've turned my mindset to it's like, okay, I saw a sneak peek, I saw that, but I was like, nope, I am positive. I am so positive now that it's like I can't like my mind has shifted where now it's like I'm not focusing on the negative. I haven't focused on the negative. It's just positive. Keep positive. Focus on the things you like to do. Just
Amazing.
focus, you know?
And have you have
It's
you have you
but like
felt
the things
do you
like
feel like
Mhm.
compassion for yourself then? Because sometimes obviously the journaling it's an overflow system. So sometimes of course it's going to be negative and complaining and whining because it's just processing and it's dumping it out of the brain and the body onto the paper. But I know when I read back, and I know what you mean, sometimes you kind of go, oh my goodness, I was in such a bad place and I was in such a bad way,
yes.
physically, mentally. And even now I kind of go, oh gosh, bless me. I was just
Yeah.
getting by. I was just getting through the hour, let alone the morning, let alone the afternoon or the day. So how did you were you able to find some compassion and kindness for you all those years ago?
Yeah, yeah, like I when I read it, I was like, wow, like everyone has their problems and just looking back on it, I was like, wow, I went through that. Like, wow, I have
Because you
so
forget.
much, yeah, so much like you said, compassion and just like a big heart for that girl because it's like, wow, like you went through
Mm.
so much and now it's like, wow, it's like, look at how far you've come. Like you gotta be so proud of yourself. It's
Yes.
like a different person, you know?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's lovely. That's lovely because I
It's
really, even
very
you hearing even hearing those words that you're speaking, exactly. Look how far you've come and
mm,
be so proud of yourself because, it's a journey, isn't it? And it's not an easy journey, but it's a journey that, you know, you have just kept going. You know, you've not never given up. Of course, you had days that were sad days, bad days, down days, want to give up days, but you just kept going. You never gave up, you know, and that is the measure of an EndoBoss.
Yeah, I hear you on that one.
And you know what? I don't think
Yeah.
we when you were coming through the programs, I don't think we gave out these, but I would love to send you one.
Oh,
If
oh,
you,
are those new? Oh
yeah,
my
this
gosh.
an EndoBoss medal. It's a solid brass medal, and it says, um, congratulations on being an EndoBoss, because you are an official EndoBoss, obviously.
Oh, that's
And it
awesome.
says around the side, it says effort, courage, discipline, respect, honor, pride, passion, and victory.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love it.
So
Oh,
normally, I mean, I
oh,
know you're in Canada, but normally I ask women to fly over, meet me, and we present
oh,
you with the medal. I don't know
oh
if you're
my
planning on
gosh.
being in Scotland in the next few while.
Well, you never know. Maybe in like a year or two after we get settled in Alberta, why not? That's my hope. Why not?
Why not? Well, I would love for you to fly to Edinburgh and we can meet
Yes.
and I could present you with your medal because it comes in a beautiful case as well.
Oh, that's amazing.
To
Yeah.
celebrate the journey. You know, you've been through so many
Mhm.
battles, but you've won the war on endometriosis. And that's why you become a boss of your endometriosis and you're an endoboss now. I mean, that deserves a
Yep.
medal of recognition, don't you think?
Yes, it does. And the one thing I took out of it, this whole program is like, you have to take that risk. It's
Yes.
so important. You need to be a risk taker. You just need to go for it. You just go. That's just what I've learned. You just have to.
Yeah,
And look at
exactly.
me now.
Look at you now,
Yeah.
exactly. It's kind of I
Mhm.
heard a nice phrase the other day. It's look once, leap twice, or something like that. And I quite like that. It's like, yeah, we've because I think what you did and what I did, and obviously you had the framework. I didn't even have the framework then, but you took that
Yeah.
leap of faith. You trusted you'd read the book, you started to implement the stuff, and then you're like, okay, I need support in this, and you just went for it. And you really committed. I mean, I'll never forget you till the day I die. You were always so passionate and driven and I think to be able to put that energy back into yourself was the biggest challenge on the journey, wasn't it? Because the type of woman that we are, we're really good at putting our energy out to other people and other things and other places, but the journey is like an inside job to heal. And it's not just the
Mhm.
physical, it's the emotional as well now. And in fact, I'm running in-person retreats in Portugal. So I've got a retreat in October. So again, if you fancy coming along,
Oh
and it's only with like 4 or 5 women, so it's really small and intimate. But again, it just allows for that feeling of connectedness and community and coming together because it's not so easy for, I recognize, for the women that are so good at helping others to help
my
themselves.
gosh.
That is the biggest challenge, you know. So I always remember you being very, very committed, you know, very, very. What does that feel like hearing that being relayed back to you?
Feels good. Like I feel good knowing it's like I think of it, it's like yeah, I look back, it's like, yeah, I was, and it's like I still am to this day. I have to be. Like
Amazing.
I just like you said, you gotta leap forward or forward. You gotta just go. You gotta stay committed. You're either you're in or you're out. Like you gotta be fully in. And
Yeah.
like the rewards are wonderful. And
Yeah.
it's like just looking at you, right? Like you said, you didn't even have a framework. So it's like when I looked up to you, it's like, wow, like, oh my gosh, like I have to get on board,
Yeah.
and it's like you look fantastic. Like, and you have nothing, like no
Yeah.
medical braille, nothing. Like that's crazy. That's amazing.
Well, this is why I do what I do
Yeah.
because I'm like, I have to tell. I always remember going, oh my goodness, I have to tell everyone about this. Like, there was nothing on those days online that covered everything. You know, there's people talk about nutrition, they talk about diet, which is fine. And then there was, you know, contradictory stuff on that. And then some people talked on products, but people didn't talk really about property, and they didn't talk about people, and they didn't talk about past, and they didn't talk about the emotional side of things, you know. And I
Mhm.
remember being even scared to talk about the emotional side of things, because I didn't want women thinking that I was saying to them it was in their head, because it's not in their head. You know, we are such empaths, such highly sensitive women, but it doesn't mean that we're weak either. It's just our strength is misdirected out and not in. And it's challenging coming in on that, you know? So, but yeah, I remember thinking I have to share this. I would like chop off my right arm to have had this information. I lost decades of my life, you know? So it was so important. And then, of course, just to see how women respond when they get the right information, education, inspiration, love and support. It's beautiful. It's like a plant or a flower. It grows and it heals. It's just what nature does, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It's
You know?
incredible. It's
I mean, I'm thinking
it's
back to kind of at the very beginning, and I remember our very first phone call, and we were talking about, you know, you taking that commitment. But what do you think was driving you? Because, you know, not everybody has it, and nowadays women have to apply to work with my team and stuff, you know, because we know the women that are like, I'm all in, like I'm gonna take that leap of faith, like, oh my god, it's scary and it's a big financial commitment, but like I'm doing. So what do you think was that driving factor for you?
it's like I think it was like a mix. I think the big factor is when I met you, it's like if she did it, she went through all that, I can do it.
Mm,
I just looked at you and I was like, no, I trust her. Like I can do this, you
yeah,
know. And it's also when you have doctors, you know, saying like you'll never have kids, you'll never do this, you need things removed, you need, you know, all these negative things. It like pushes you away. And it's like some women like I was scared at one point. It's like, okay, this is scary. Like I need to like I need to find an alternative because I don't know where to look. And then when I met you, it's like, okay, like this is different. Like you said, it's different. Like there's so many diets out there, all these different natural paths. Everyone's got different opinions, but
yeah.
you actually went through it.
Uh-huh.
You went through it. So I was like, okay, like I can trust her. Like she went through this.
Yeah, well, I
So
think
that's
that.
what.
Oh, but that's good to hear, because I think that's it. I know when I spoke to various people on my journey, I had chronic fatigue syndrome at one point, and I remember speaking to this place, and they put me in touch with a coach, but she'd never had chronic fatigue. So I'm like, well, how can you possibly understand what I'd been through? And then I spoke to a naturopath or a nutritionalist, and they've never had endometriosis. I'm like, how could you possibly understand? So I needed to key in to someone who had, well, there was nobody really, you know. I sort of pitch patched the whole thing together, and that's why it's great that that inspired you, because I was thinking there was nobody then at that point who was this almost near total organ failure and on their way out as I was. And that's why I'm like, there's just no way I can't share this, because it's about giving you hope and a pathway to healing, you know. So it's wonderful, and I think that's it. I think when you recognize, because you get told so many different things by the professionals, and our conditioning, the way that we've grown up, is we're told to kind of be good girls, do as we're told, don't question. But something's screaming inside going, no, 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 I don't think you're supposed to remove everything, you know, like that's not going to address the root causes. And surely we need these parts. They're not just disposable parts, you know, that they can be thrown away. I used to use the analogy like an empty crisp packet. It's like,
Yes.
you know, I remember saying to some of the male doctors, shall we just chop off your parts too? You know, or if they're that indispensable. And you know, their response obviously was one of horror. But I'm like, well, that's what you're talking about with us, you know, with us
Mhm.
women, is to remove everything. It's like, it's horrifying. So yeah, no, it's
Us-
great that
Yeah,
you,
sorry about that.
that's okay. Is that your wee boy?
Oh, the telephone. I'm at my parents, so everything, the little adjusting, learning and adjusting.
Well, I'd love
But
to meet him. I don't know if is he around to say hello.
oh, he's sleeping right now.
Okay. So let
I'm
let him
sure I'll.
sleep. Yeah, let him sleep. No, it's exactly. It's
Yeah.
And you know, when you look back, I mean, for those listeners, I think we're at over 120,000 downloads now on our podcast. So there will be listeners who maybe have, hopefully everyone's gone back and binge listened to your two previous podcasts. But for those who haven't heard, can you remember what was happening for you physically when you first joined the program?
Like when I first like joined the program, like I felt okay. At first, I felt lost. I felt lost because, you know, like that feeling of like driving me to you, I was like, okay, I feel trust. But when I started the program, I was like, I don't know where to start. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just a little bit. But then I have to say, like, after the fact of everything, like the course, like I just, when you start it, it's crafted in such a way where you learn what you need to learn at the right times,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know? So it started to build my confidence, and having the groups on Facebook that we were part of,
yeah,
that was very important. I thought that was really important, like you said, with the connecting,
yeah.
because it really, I made some friends off that, and you could stay connected. I think that was very important
Yeah.
for that as well.
And what can you remember? You obviously had I think you had cysts, didn't you? And endometriosis, obviously. And I do remember you know, your doctor was obviously saying to have a hysterectomy and that you never have children. And it's like, wow, you know, and you think there you have a little boy and you've actually had your insides checked. There's nothing, there's no sign. It's just amazing.
Yes, it's amazing. It's the complete opposite of what they said.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
very different.
And what about your parents? I mean, do they still kind of, or were they aware of your journey at all?
Yeah, so they're very shocked too. Like even like I said, like they're still learning with the foods and everything, but they're still like,
Yeah.
okay, like if you need any help, if you want to help Wendy, if you want to do anything, go see her, because they don't even know you and they trust you because
Yeah.
of all the help that you gave me. So that's incredible. Like I just, it's a very big journey. It's like even like I said, like when I had my surgery after endometriosis, after we did our program, he gave me a picture and said, I don't know what happened. You don't have anything. I don't know. That's what he said. I don't know what happened.
But don't you think that's astonishing that someone in
No.
that uh, really influential place, you know, doesn't
Mhm.
understand the body's natural healing process? I mean, this isn't anything, this is not a snake oil or anything weird, wacky, or woo-woo here. Like this is you cut your
Mhm.
finger and oh, it heals by itself. Like you unless you keep cutting it, you know, it's going to heal. Don't you think that's really weird?
It's an eye opener. And then you start questioning everything when you're hearing stuff like that coming from a specialist. So it's like,
Yeah, I mean, I think
kinda.
again, they're just a byproduct of their training, and their training is obviously tends to be
Mhm.
pharmaceuticals and surgical procedures rather than actually. So yeah,
Yes.
so I really appreciate you coming on and giving us an update and sharing where you're at. It's very inspiring, and I'm super proud of you on so many fronts. And please do send us a photo of your little boy if you're
Yes.
comfortable. We don't have to share it if you don't want to, but we certainly for the team we would
Yes.
love to coo and go and there's a few ladies. I think we've got 37 EndoBoss babies now that
What?
yeah. Is that we've actually got a spreadsheet of all we've just so it's just lovely when you know we see wee photos of them of these like beautiful little beings that have come into the world, you know. As we call them, EndoBoss babies. So
Oh,
what would
that's
be
so
your
good.
parting words to anyone who's listening, who's perhaps at the beginning of their journey or maybe read the book and you know and kind of feeling a bit lost and alone? What would be your parting words of inspiration?
I would have to say, just leap forward, go for it. If you're having a bad day, keep going. Like you said, everybody has their bad days, but like you have to look forward for the rewards, and
Yeah.
that reward is so worth it. Like it's so worth it. Like you just got to get up the next day and be like, nope, this is happening. This is
Yeah.
happening, and you can do it. Because I did
And
it.
And you're worth it, and you're worth it. Like,
Yes.
never give
Yeah.
up, you know? And of
Mhm.
course, to reach out for help and support of people who
Mhm.
know you, who get you. And if you're not
Mhm.
getting what you need, then look elsewhere. So, well, look, thank you so much. We're going to chat in a second, but Dianna, thank
Perfect.
you so much for coming on. It's just been an absolute joy to catch up with you again. And keep up the brilliant work, keep awake and aware and, you know, curious of what's happening in, on, and around you. But and hopefully maybe catch up again in another couple of years.
Oh, yes, we sure will.
Okay, Diana,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
Thanks, Wendy.